All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the International Outreach Think Tank meeting. Today is Wednesday, November 13th, and we are going to get started with the Bivens Declaration. Let me share my screen, and if I can get somebody to who would volunteer to read this for us, that would be great. Do I have any takers? I blew it up nice and big. Don't be shy. Come on now.
This is Sue on Nevada. I'll read it.
Thank you, Sue.
You're welcome. This meeting is private. Bearing false witness, misrepresentation, and posting inflammatory rhetoric in public forums is forbidden and shall be addressed in an appropriate manner. Anyone who is here under false pretenses, anyone who is working for any foreign government, including the territorial United States or municipal United States, anyone who is being paid or coerced to be here must fully disclose their presence and purpose now or leave the premises. If they subsequently show up as federal witnesses, they are discredited for failure to disclose. To eliminate all conflict and false allegations, is there anyone in attendance in today's meeting that is a member or agent of any law enforcement agency or public agency of the federal, state, city, county, or township agencies present? Is there a response to the Bivens decision? Is there a response to the Bivens decision for the second time? Is there a response to the Bivens decision for the third time? Can you scroll up a little bit? Thank you. Okay, and I guess it's done.
Yes, thank you. All right, I'm going to stop screen sharing that. And if it's okay with everybody, I'd like to, I have a prayer. I think it's really appropriate, especially during these times. It's a protection prayer. So if you wouldn't mind, I'm just going to go ahead and read this. Dear God, Almighty Creator, we come before you in humility and faith, and thank you for your divine protection from all evil spirits that wish to harm us. We trust in your almighty power and believe that you are our refuge and fortress. Shield us with your mighty hand and let no harm or darkness come near us. Surround us with your angels, guarding our life, home, and loved ones from every threat. We thank you for your promise that no weapon formed against us shall prosper.
385-308.
We got a hot mic there. We thank you for instilling in us the strength and courage to stand firm against any evil, knowing that your light will always overcome darkness. As we seek shelter in your presence, grant us peace that surpasses understanding. May your love and protection follow us wherever we go, keeping us safe from the traps and snares of the enemy. And we declare it to be so. In his name, so be it. All right. Let's see what we're going to start with tonight. We just have, well, I guess we were kind of given a little recap on the family reunion. We missed a lot of your beautiful faces there, but it was nice to see so many represented, a lot of faces that I haven't met yet. And then also to be able to actually connect with people that we just see on this little screen here, right? We just see a box of everybody's face. So it was nice to actually be close up and personal with, you know, people like Michelle Ford and Lisa Schaefer and Neeti Bali and, you know, so many, Vicky and her husband, Ted Van Werth. And who else, Vicky? I mean, we met some new people on Massachusetts. Joe Gambone was a Spitfire there, and just, you know, just had a beautiful time, got to have Q&A. And I think a lot of us were able to share different things with each other and learn from each other, which is always nice. And then also break bread with each other and have dinner and share some laughs and just a really good time. Vicky, do you want to share any of your experience with what we did in Plymouth?
It was just, like you said, just fun to get to meet everyone, you know, in person. There was a group from Maine that it was fun to get to know also. And just seeing people from all across the country, like you said, that we only see on the screen, it was just wonderful to be able to give everybody hugs.
Yeah, and just to hear what some people are working on their assemblies, it was really inspiring. There was a woman from Georgia, I believe her name was Sherry, and she is a very well established realtor, and she's actually changed her business over to the private. And she was sharing some of that with us, and she's got a big team. And you know, before she switched over to the private, she was actually leading a huge group of realtors, and I guess part of her job was training them. And so she has now been able to switch them over to the private. And so I was encouraging her that, you know, once she gets her feet wet and she starts operating as a realtor, I don't know what that looks like being a realtor in the private, but I thought it would be, you know, she said she was teaching people about getting their land patents and land grants. And so I think it's going to be amazing when we have people that are doing this hard work and specializing in these different avenues, that they can then turn around and teach us all how to do it. You know, they're blazing the way for us. So I really applaud them. We also had another guy on Massachusetts. I mentioned him earlier. His name is, oh boy, why is it escaping me now? Um, his last name is Gambone. Joe Gambone. He serves as the ombudsman on Massachusetts, and what a wealth of information. He's been studying this stuff for a long time, and he's been actually working in the private with his business for a very long time. He's in the construction business, and I believe he's an architect and a builder. So anyway, it was just a blessing, and we got to meet uh, Kevin and his wife. I'm bad with names. Jill, do you remember who Kevin's wife was? That was on Massachusetts.
No.
I think it might be Liz. But anyway, really great people. And again, Maine Assembly, we got to meet Vanessa and Tanya. And there was a couple other people there from Maine that popped in, but just a really great experience. And so it was very well planned, you know, so a great big thank you to Lisa Schaefer and then and Michelle Ford for, you know, envisioning this for us and bringing it to fruition. So it was just a really great experience. I'm looking forward to next year. And so I would encourage everybody else to come. It was really uplifting to get together with everybody.
Ma'am, Tammy,
Yeah.
just a question.
Yes.
Was
Yeah.
there any assembly there that you hadn't interviewed yet that you got on schedule?
Yes, I was working on Massachusetts. So, yeah, I was trying to encourage people. It's amazing to me how there's a lot of shy people, and they're missing the point that the interviews that I do with the American States Assemblies is not to interview your assembly when it's at its most perfect state. It's really to get it when it's at its grassroots effort, and maybe you're a fledgling assembly, but it's to really just showcase, even if you just have 3 people that are working it right now, you know, just to get your name out there and let your people know on your state that you're there and you're standing and you're calling out to them. So that's my message for all of the states. You know, I'd love to interview you no matter what stage of the process of the assembling that you're in. And you know, and just get your name out there, and it's a platform really to market your state assembly, and we make it as easy as possible. So that's what I'm hoping for, Louise. I think there was a couple of people on Massachusetts that were not shy. They hadn't heard of our think tank meeting, and they hadn't heard of that podcast. So you know, hopefully it was a great opportunity to network and get the word out. So does that answer your question? All right. We are going to go ahead with the new business for tonight because we do have a lot to cover. we've got Kimberly Watling from, I have it wrong on the agenda again. It's Watling. I know it's Watling, Kimberly, so please forgive me there.
No, you're just fine. I know you do. I know you do. Sometimes we just cut and paste and carry forward, so it's all
That's
good.
exactly what I did. And
I
the same thing
figured.
with Vicky. Vicky kept me straight and she gave me both the links. So hopefully you guys got that email too. I'll change it on the agenda for next time. But anyway, we've got Kimberly Watling, who's going to be presenting Escaping the Matrix and Indoctrination and Learning the Triggers. And then we're going to continue on with the American Government Resurgence Project with Louise. So we've got a lot to cover tonight. I'm going to be busy taking notes as we go along. If there's anybody that's on the call tonight that is not on the invite list, please put your name, your first and last name, the state that you're on, and your email address so I can add you to our invite list, okay? And without further ado, Kimberly, I'm going to let you go ahead and take it over.
Great. Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. It's good to be with you. Forgive me, I have a bit of a head cold and I reserve the right to suddenly jump off and have a cough. So if I do that, please forgive me. I will be right back with you. I am really tickled to be able to bring this all out and share with you some of the stuff that we're working on and sort of how we're approaching coming into helping men and women becoming sovereign and learning learning about being sovereign and the responsibilities of self-governing and so forth. I am currently in a pro tem role as the a peacekeeping task force outreach liaison on Michigan. And I'm also working as a freedom guide and on our new member orientations. And so some of the work that we're doing is in relation to what we're trying to do in not only creating the orientations, but also kind of finding land terms to be able to work with. And so trailblazing is the name of the work that we're doing. Again, trying to come onto land and soil rather than using sea jurisdiction terms. So in our trailblazing work, we are working with helping men and women to comprehend a lot of what's happened to them. And again, a lot of us, and I may be preaching to the choir a little bit tonight, so I'm hoping that some of this is not repeat for some of you. And if it is, if you could bear with me for those who may not yet know it. But basically, it's trying to help men and women understand who they are and sort of what has happened on other levels. And so in the building of assemblies and our pillar building and so on, I've taken and borrowed this beautiful graphic that Lisa on Ohio does in some of her orientation work. And she very wisely, in my opinion, kind of put this in a little bit different process. And so she has our three pillars, the General Assembly, the Militia Assembly, and the International Business Assembly as indeed pillars. And then with the importance of the overarching General Assembly being sort of the roof structure that this is sort of encompassing all of that. And yet I say to you this, have you ever been in a building with three pillars? No, it's not usually something that happens. So where's the other pillar? And this is where I'm going to introduce you to what I think is really the most special pillar. And I think that that's something that we all need to realize. It's the thing that's been most hidden from us. And I believe that this sacred pillar is actually sacred you. And without doing the work in this pillar, you are going to be of wonderful service and all of these other wonderful things will build out. But in doing the personal work, that is where you're going to be able to affect the most change. And so in offering education and in offering the opportunity for sovereigns to step forward into the responsibilities that that brings, we sort of need to know what has been employed against us or things that have been hidden from us. So where I'm going to go with that, I'm going to stop screen share a moment. Thank you. And I'm going to start to come over to the what I refer to as the sacred you. I come from holistic health backgrounds. I come from trainings and all sorts of wonderful things. And I have been involved in holistic healing and health now, basically since I was a teenager, had to save my own life. So I literally have done that through all sorts of mechanisms and therapies and so forth. And so in that quest and in having, I guess, a wonderful just upbringing in which I was able to be more of a free spirit. I was allowed to be creative in my world. And I think that that's been something that has allowed me to be aware of nature and the rhythms of nature and so on. And then the family work that I do, we work with color. And so some of that with light and vibration and sound and energy and healing, I became aware very quickly that we were actually beautiful, energetic beings. And so this is something that I believe has very much been hidden from all of us. Again, I know that I'm in like minds here, and many of you actually probably already have the concepts of some of this. But I think that it's very worth bringing forward because people don't know how special they are. And to speak to what Tammy said a moment ago about being shy or about, feeling little and being, indoctrinated to believe that you aren't valuable. And I think that this has been some of the work that has been purposely done to basically make us, feel unworthy and incapable in this world. And with all of us, I'm so in admiration because we've all woken up in our own ways, and we've all had our own traumas, and we've all had our own knocks and bruises and everything to get to where we've gotten, and we've pursued. And so with that, we are coming to learn all of these things that we haven't known. And so in this, in becoming aware that how special we are as energetic beings, I think that this is something that people don't realize the power we have. And so in that, this is where I like to help people start to comprehend that they are actually these marvelous creatures and these marvelous energetic beings that are affected by vibration, by sound, by harmony, by discord, and by all of these things that we are being affected by in all sorts of capacities. And so some of this is the waking up to how and what happened to us. So in some of the basics with how I approach people when I start talking about this, and you have people that are big-eyed just looking at you going, well, how come I'm not hearing this on the news? And how come I'm not, why am I not hearing this anywhere else? The journey begins. And so for me, I often start with Operation Mockingbird, because I think it's something that people are so blinded, as we know, to the fact that this is going on actively in their world. And so when you start to be able to go and show those great videos that are out now that are actually showing how, you can go to one newscast and they have the script and then they zoom up like us and now they're all saying the same thing. People will start to wake up to that, and then they fall back into cognitive dissonance. And so this is the way that, they're being manipulated energetically, again, as we all know, coming into other signals, how back in the day that they changed the music and the resonance and the vibrations and so forth. We have all of these things, psychological warfares, programming, broadcasting, these types of things that are happening and manipulating our energetic fields, looshing us, energetically deflating us and so forth. And so my effort here was to come forward and to start to bring out who are we? What are we? And so I have found a video that I would like to go ahead and put up to be able to start to show people. I'll make sure that it is a video that others can have, that they can be able to show others. I'm sure some people are gonna throw this away and go, no, I can't handle that. But others are gonna think differently. So I'd like to show this to you because as I was putting my stuff together, it was sort of one of those holy moments that it just sort of landed on my desk. And so I'm going to go ahead and show it because I think they did quite a good job in explaining things. And then when we come back off of that, I'm actually going to do just a very quick exercise that I'm going to actually show you that this is indeed you, and it's not something that we just are mentally looking at. This is actually something that's you. So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys experience that after we have a look at it. And I'm going to let it settle there with you all, and we can pick up another time because it sometimes is a bit of an adjustment for people to realize just how magnificent they are. But I will also offer to Tammy, she had wonderfully sent out just recently, and I saw Cheryl on Virginia. Excuse my voice is getting a little raspy. Cheryl, thank you. You sent out a beautiful document and calling attention to Sabrina Wallace. I was introduced to her about a year ago, and her work is incredibly important for assemblies to know about. This is part of the attack that is happening to us. It is part of the resonance field that's being affecting us. And Sabrina has been able to bring this out as to the how-to. And so I think that this is something that I made our litigation aware of, because this will be some of the mechanism to be able to have on how and why these things have happened to good men and women. And I think it will also be necessary in our militia pillars with regard to the health capacities and understanding things that we can know that happened to be able to mitigate. So Cheryl, thank you also for the paperwork that you provided that gives others the opportunity to be able to create the documents for biofields. These are things that are going to be incredibly important for people to come to understand. So I see Tammy's hand is up. So before I start the video, please, Tammy, go ahead. And if you have a question, I'll certainly answer if I can.
I have two questions. One, can you tell us just how long the video is? And two, is there a action step that we can take that you'll end us with?
Yes, that's what I was going to come out of it with, because I think sometimes people will look at what I'm going to show them and they'll have it all in a mental capacity, and I'd like to anchor it in your actual physical form after we do that. So if I can reserve that with a little tease at the moment, yes, I will end with that so everybody can have a direct experience.
And how long?
I'm sorry, the video I think is right around 20 minutes, I think is right. Will that be okay for you if we do that?
Yeah, that's enough.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Let me go ahead and cue that up. And I do apologize in advance. I think sometimes we get the little advertisements that come in on this. So if indeed that were to happen, I will click the button as quickly as possible to skip, but sometimes I have to wait a few seconds. So forgive me if it ends up being an inappropriate ad of something. I don't have any control over that. So here we go, folks. Thank you.
In the vastness of the universe, where galaxies move in a kind of cosmic
Kimberly, you have to unmute, otherwise we won't hear the
But what do
sound.
we really know about?
Did that get it?
In the vastness of the
Can you
universe,
turn
where
closed caption
galaxies
on?
move in a kind of cosmic choreography, there is an invisible force that permeates
Trying to
all
figure out where-
things. This force, known as energy, is the fundamental essence of existence. But what do we really know about this energy that surrounds and constitutes us? Do we understand its true nature and the impact it has on our lives? Energy not only lights up our cities and drives our machines, it is what connects everything that exists. From the atoms that make up our bodies to the most distant stars, everything is immersed in a sea of vibrant, eternal energy. So, what we really need to think about is, how can we access this deep and transformative knowledge that energy holds within it? In ancient texts and spiritual traditions, we find an ancient wisdom that tells us about the eternity of energy. Some texts say, energy never dies, it only transforms. This concept leads us to a profound reflection. If energy is eternal and always transforms, what does this mean for us, human beings, on our life journey? When we look at the universe, we see that energy is in constant movement, constantly recreating and renewing itself. In the same way, our lives are also in continuous flow, shaped by experiences and learning. As energy beings, we are constantly influencing and being influenced by these invisible forces. Every thought, emotion, and action we take emits a vibration that contributes to our personal and collective reality. That's why understanding the nature of energy can transform our lives in profound and meaningful ways. So today, We'll explore the secrets of energy and how it can be the key to unlocking unlimited potential within us. But that's not all. You'll discover the fundamental role of energy in the universe and how it can guide you towards a fuller, more connected life. We'll also explore some physical and mathematical concepts that, perhaps, will challenge your understanding of the role of energy in your life. But for this, I ask you to open your mind and your heart because this knowledge can change the way you see the world and yourself. Energy is the vital force that permeates the entire universe, something that cannot be seen, but whose effects are felt deeply. In simple terms, energy is the capacity to do work, to move and transform matter. Everything we see and experience is, in some way, a manifestation of this energy. It is the sunlight that warms our days, the electricity that lights up our nights, and the force that pulses in every cell of our bodies. In physics, energy is categorized in various ways: kinetic, potential, thermal, electrical, chemical, nuclear, and others. Each of these forms of energy can be transformed into another, maintaining the essence that energy is never lost, only transformed. This principle is a reflection of the eternal creation and destruction that we observe in the cosmos. From a spiritual perspective, energy is often compared to the concept of soul or spirit, the eternal essence that dwells in all living beings. Just as physical energy never dies, only changes form, many spiritual traditions believe that our souls are also eternal, going through a cycle of rebirth and transformation. Reincarnation, for example, is seen as a continuous renewal where the soul learns, grows, and evolves with each life. With that in mind, imagine energy as an endless river, flowing endlessly, moving through time and space, shaping and being shaped by everything it touches. Each of us is a drop in that river, contributing to the larger flow while also being transformed by it. The energy that makes up our bodies and minds has existed in many forms before us and will continue to exist long after we are gone. This perspective invites us to see life as a continuous cycle of transformation and renewal, where nothing is really lost, but rather reinvented. The law of conservation of energy is one of the fundamental pillars of physics. It states that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It only changes form. This principle not only underpins the scientific understanding of the universe, but also reflects deeply with many spiritual philosophies. In everyday life, we can observe this law in action in various ways. When we eat, the chemical energy stored in nutrients is converted into kinetic and thermal energy, allowing us to move and keep our bodies warm. And when we turn on a light bulb, electrical energy is transformed into light and heat. But
I took two things that I love, dancing and dogs, and I made them into a successful business.
But even emotions and thoughts can be seen as forms of energy that influence our physical and mental state. Spiritually, the conservation of energy reminds us of the interconnectedness of all things. If energy is never lost but only transformed, so all our actions, thoughts, and feelings have a lasting impact on the world around us. Every act, every thought, every emotion contributes to a larger energy field, which influences reality in ways that we may not be able to see immediately, but which are real and powerful. This is also one of the reasons I always tell you about the importance of our responsibility for the energy and frequency we emit. Our choices are not just isolated events.
Forgive me, Tammy's just informed me that the video is not playing here, so sorry about that. Let me see what's happening.
Yeah, we were able to hear it. We're just not able to see the video changing. It just looks like the same screen. And it looked like you never pushed play.
Well, that's interesting because it's playing here. Give me just
Yeah,
one.
clearly, because we can hear it.
Thank you for letting me know. I apologize for that. One moment. Let me see what I can find is going on.
Or if Tammy, if you can find it on YouTube, see if you can play it.
Okay, I'll get on that.
I emailed that over to you a few moments ago, and it should be in the in your inbox. And so I am so terribly sorry. Thank you for letting me know. I wish you would let me know a few minutes more or earlier. So sorry about that. Let's see what we've got here.
Someone said to enlarge the screen.
Where's the screen? Okay.
Try it that way. Put it on full screen.
Right. Am I sharing screen with you all at the moment? Because it doesn't say that I am.
No, no, we're not sharing. We just see you.
Okay. Just a moment. Let me see if I can get this back up a second. Okay. Did the screen share for you there?
Yeah, it's sharing. Let's see what happens now.
In the vastness of the universe.
Enlarge. Did that enlarge for everybody?
Nope.
Okay.
No, do
Seems
you want
like-
me to try it on my end? Because I found it.
I would love, yes, I would love that. Please,
Okay.
please forgive me. I will tell you, just so for sound marker where I was, just 1 second.
Yeah, that would be great.
Give me 1 second. When you shared screen, it bumped me, so I'm so sorry. Oh, for goodness sake. I cannot get back to this at the moment, so
That's okay. I'm going to start it at maybe the 3-minute mark.
thank you, Tammy. Forgive
Yeah.
me for my technical
That our
difficulties there.
souls are also eternal, going through a cycle of rebirth and transformation. Reincarnation, for example,
Can you guys
is
see
seen
this?
as a continuous renewal
Yes, it's
where
good.
the soul learns, grows, and evolves with each life. With that in mind, imagine energy as an endless river, flowing endlessly, moving through time and space, shaping and being shaped by everything it touches. Each of us is a drop in that river, contributing to the larger flow while also being transformed by it. The energy that makes up our bodies and minds has existed in many forms before us and will continue to exist long after we are gone. This perspective invites us to see life as a continuous cycle of transformation and renewal, where nothing is really lost, but rather reinvented. The law of conservation of energy is one of the fundamental pillars of physics. It states that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It only changes form. This principle not only underpins the scientific understanding of the universe, but also reflects deeply with many spiritual philosophies. In everyday life, we can observe this law in action in various ways. When we eat, the chemical energy stored in nutrients is converted into kinetic and thermal energy, allowing us to move and keep our bodies warm. And when we turn on a light bulb, electrical energy is transformed into light and heat. But even emotions and thoughts can be seen as forms of energy that influence our physical and mental state. Spiritually, the conservation of energy reminds us of the interconnectedness of all things. If energy is never lost but only transformed, so all our actions, thoughts, and feelings have a lasting impact on the world around us. Every act, every thought, every emotion contributes to a larger energy field, which influences reality in ways that we may not be able to see immediately, but which are real and powerful. This is also one of the reasons I always tell you about the importance of our responsibility for the energy and frequency we emit. Our choices are not just isolated events. They reverberate through existence, shaping the future in subtle but significant ways. This understanding of energy as eternal and interconnected also leads us to reflect. How can we use this knowledge to improve our lives and the world around us? How can we become more aware of the energies we emit and receive? And how can we harmonize them to achieve a state of balance and peace? As we deepen our understanding of energy, we discover that it manifests in different frequencies and vibrations. Each frequency has unique characteristics that can influence matter and life in surprising ways. Modern science teaches us that all things, living or not, vibrate at a specific frequency. These vibrations are, in fact, the tangible manifestation of energy in action. The atoms that make up our bodies, for example, are in constant motion, vibrating in rhythms that create the substance of who we are. These frequencies have a profound impact on our emotions and mental states. Music, for example, can provoke a series of emotions, from joy and excitement to sadness and melancholy, all depending on the frequencies and harmonies used. In the same way, our emotions and thoughts have their own frequencies that can influence our physical health and emotional well-being. The connection between human frequencies and emotions is a fascinating area, rich in potential for self-knowledge and healing. Understanding these dynamics leads us to reflect on how we can adjust our own frequencies to achieve a state of harmony and balance. Just as a musical instrument needs to be tuned to produce a pleasant sound, our bodies and minds can be adjusted through practices that raise our frequencies, such as meditation, therapeutic music, and other forms of energy healing. One of the most promising applications of this knowledge is harmonic wave resequencing. This concept, although it may sound complex, is based on the simple idea that we can use specific frequencies to realign and harmonize the vibrations of our body. This technique has the potential to heal diseases, relieve pain, and restore energy balance. The practical application of this technique can be seen in treatments that use sound and vibration to promote healing. Specific frequencies can be directed to areas of the body that are out of balance, helping to restore health and vitality. This approach recognizes that health is not just the absence of disease, but a state of balance and harmony at all levels of being. And it is from this knowledge of energy and frequency that we inevitably arrive at the intersection with human consciousness. Energy is not just a physical force that moves the universe. It is also intrinsically connected to our mind and spirit. Consciousness, the ability to perceive, think, and feel, is a direct manifestation of the energy that flows through us. The theory of biocentrism, proposed by Dr. Robert Lanza, offers a fascinating perspective on this connection. According to biocentrism, life and consciousness are fundamental to the construction of the universe, not just a byproduct of it. In other words, the universe exists because there are conscious beings to observe it. This theory challenges the traditional view that consciousness arises only as a side effect of matter and suggests that consciousness and energy are inseparable aspects of the same reality. When we consider that everything in the universe is energy vibrating at different frequencies, we begin to understand that our consciousness is, in fact, a highly organized and complex form of this energy. Our thoughts, emotions, and perceptions are expressions of the frequencies at which our consciousness operates. Every positive or negative thought, every emotion of love or fear alters our energy field, which in turn influences the world around us. This interconnection manifests in various ways in our daily lives. For example, have you ever noticed how being around someone cheerful and positive can lift your own spirits? Or how negative thoughts can seem to drain your physical energy? These phenomena illustrate how the energy of human consciousness is fluid and interconnected, constantly interacting with other energies around us. In the collective context, events of great magnitude, such as celebrations, natural disasters, or global crises, also demonstrate the interconnection between energy and consciousness. When a large number of people share an intense emotion, such as joy during a celebration or fear during a crisis, this collective energy can create a powerful field that influences the behavior and emotions of individuals within that group. This interconnection between energy and consciousness invites us to live more consciously and intentionally. Each thought and emotion is a vibration we send out into the universe, and these vibrations have the power to shape our reality. When we become more aware of our own energies, we can align our actions and intentions with the harmonious forces of the cosmos, promoting a continuous cycle of growth and positive transformation. As we explore the interconnection between energy and consciousness, we are also faced with the need to understand how mathematics, the language of the universe, describes these interactions. Current mathematical conventions, while powerful and widely applied, have significant limitations when it comes to capturing the true nature of energy and its relationship with consciousness. Traditional mathematics, with its precise formulas and equations, was developed to describe physical phenomena in a three-dimensional world. Although effective in many aspects, it often fails to explain phenomena that transcend these dimensions, such as quantum fluctuations, the nature of consciousness, and the complex energy interactions that occur at subtle levels. The vibrational nature of reality requires a mathematical approach that can incorporate these oscillations and their effects on matter and consciousness. To overcome these limitations, new mathematical models are being developed. These models seek to incorporate principles of frequency, resonance, and nonlinear dynamics to provide a more precise and comprehensive description of energy. They challenge the status quo, proposing that our current understanding is just one piece of a much larger puzzle. Among the most interesting proposals are theories that incorporate sacred geometry and fractal mathematics. Sacred geometry, with its forms and patterns found in nature, offers a vision of how energy organizes itself and manifests itself on a variety of scales. Fractals, on the other hand, reveal how complex structures can emerge from simple repetitive patterns, reflecting the self-similar nature of energetic reality. A practical example of these new approaches is string theory, which suggests that the fundamental particles of the universe are not points, but vibrating strings whose interactions create the reality we perceive. This theory not only expands our understanding of subatomic particles, but also suggests that the music of the spheres, an ancient concept, may be an accurate metaphor for the structure of the cosmos. Another fascinating proposal is vortex mathematics, which explores how vortices and toroidal fields can explain phenomena that traditional linear equations cannot. This model suggests that all forms of energy, from electrons to galaxies, follow spiral movement patterns, constantly creating and destroying in an eternal cycle of transformation. These approaches also have profound implications for our understanding of consciousness. If consciousness is a manifestation of energetic patterns, adjusting these patterns can alter states of consciousness, promoting experiences of expansion and enlightenment. These theories not only expand our scientific understanding, but also bring us closer to a unified vision of reality where science and spirituality meet. This integration can lead us to a new era of discovery, where the mathematics of energy becomes a tool for personal and collective transformation. Sacred geometry is an ancient science that studies the patterns and shapes that are the building blocks of the universe. From the tiny patterns on mollusk shells to the vast spirals of galaxies, sacred geometry reveals an underlying order that governs all things. Sacred geometry is made up of specific shapes and proportions that are considered sacred because of their ability to create harmony and balance. Notable examples include the circle, the triangle, the square, the pentagon, and more complex shapes such as the dodecahedron and the icosahedron. Among these, the flower of life is perhaps the most emblematic, consisting of multiple overlapping circles that form an intricate and harmonious pattern. These geometric shapes also have unique energetic properties. Sacred geometry acts as a bridge between the physical and spiritual worlds, translating energetic vibrations into forms we can see and touch. Each shape and pattern resonates at a specific frequency, influencing the energy around it. The relationship between energy and sacred geometry also extends to spiritual practices. Many ancient cultures used these shapes in their temples, monuments, and rituals, believing they could amplify spiritual energies and facilitate connection with the divine. Meditations based on geometric patterns, such as visualizing the flower of life, are used to harmonize and elevate consciousness, demonstrating the profound interconnection between form, energy, and spirit. Nature, for example, is dominated by curves, spirals, and waves, reflecting the fluid and continuous dynamics of energy. This natural curvature is a direct manifestation of how energy moves and organizes itself. The straight lines, often used in human constructions, are a convenient simplification, but they do not reflect the complexity and beauty of the natural universe. In nature, everything from the path of rivers to the structure of mountains is made up of curves. This is due to the fact that energy, when in motion, follows trajectories that minimize resistance and maximize efficiency, resulting in curved and spiral shapes. These curved shapes are especially evident when we consider phenomena such as the Fibonacci spiral, which can be seen in the growth of seashells, the arrangement of sunflower seeds, and even the formation of galaxies. The Fibonacci spiral is a mathematical expression of the golden ratio and exemplifies how nature uses curves to create structures that are both efficient and aesthetically harmonious. The importance of curves and waves in the manifestation of energy is also evident in quantum physics and wave theory. Subatomic particles, such as electrons, do not move in straight lines but in wave patterns, exhibiting behavior that defies the laws of classical physics. These wave movements are the basis for string theory, which posits that the fundamental particles of the universe are actually vibrating strings, creating the various forms of matter and energy through their vibrations. Natural curvature also applies to our own life experience. Our personal journeys rarely follow a straight line. They are full of twists and turns, reflecting the dynamic nature of existence. Accepting this curvature can help us understand that challenges and changes are natural parts of the energy flow, leading us to growth and transformation. Understanding the nature of energy and its interconnection with consciousness opens up a vast field of possibilities to improve our daily lives. Energy is always around and within us, influencing our health, emotional and mental well-being, and our environment. One of the most immediate applications of this knowledge is in improving health. Practices such as meditation, yoga, and conscious breathing are powerful ways to align our internal energy. These practices help release energy blockages, reduce stress, and promote healing. Meditation, for example, can calm the mind and reduce the activity of the sympathetic nervous system, responsible for the stress response. By cultivating a state of deep relaxation, we allow our body to activate its own healing power. Another effective technique is sound therapy, which uses specific frequencies to realign our internal vibrations. Sounds such as Tibetan bowls, gongs, and mantras can help balance the chakras, the body's energy centers, promoting a state of integral well-being. Besides improving the quality of sleep, this technique reduces anxiety and increases the general feeling of well-being. But simple practices such as spending time in nature can also have a profound impact on our energy. Nature is a reservoir of pure and balanced energy, and by connecting with it, we can recharge our own energies. To align our energy with the universe, it is also essential to cultivate positive thoughts and emotions. Practices of gratitude, compassion, and love can raise our vibration, creating a higher and more positive energy field. Energy not only impacts our health and well-being, but also plays a crucial role in our spiritual growth. Spiritual growth is, in essence, a process of raising our vibration and expanding our consciousness. Working with the chakras is fundamental to spiritual growth. Each chakra is associated with specific aspects of our life and consciousness, and keeping them balanced is essential for our spiritual well-being. Techniques such as color visualization, the use of crystals, and the practice of specific mantras for each chakra can help align these energy centers, promoting a harmonious flow of energy throughout our body. But there is something equally important in this process, remembering to live with intention and awareness in every moment. I would say that this is the key to aligning our energy with the universe. Since every thought, word, and action is an expression of our energy, by becoming more aware of how we use this energy, we can create a life that resonates with harmony, peace, and joy. These practices and reflections on energy in our life and spiritual growth lead us to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the universe. They invite us to live more consciously and intentionally, harnessing the transformative power of energy to create a life full of meaning and connection. So remember, we are beings of energy, eternally connected to the universal flow. Thank you for embarking on this journey with me. If this video resonated with you, I invite you to like and subscribe to our channel. Share this video with others so they can benefit from this message. And don't forget to leave a comment below sharing your thoughts, reflections, and experiences. Thanks again for watching and for joining me. Take care and see you soon.
Okay,
Thank
I'll
you,
see.
Tammy. I appreciate that.
And I'll stop sharing here.
Perfect. Thank you all. I realized there was some length to that, and I apologize for that. And yet, how does this apply to outreach? How does this apply to the think tank? And how does this apply to anything? When people begun to realize that the beauty of who they are has been hidden and the power that they actually have has been suppressed, when they start to wake up to the fact that they have so much more to offer. And this is where I feel in the work of building our assemblies, when people start to realize the power that they have, that the ability to work with each other, the ability that when we hit things, and they can realize that they might be being manipulated rather than being crazy thinking that this is something from within. These are all ways that we can start to bring ourselves back to center and be able to have focus on what we're doing and revealing truth. And so what I want to go ahead and do, and just to ground this for all of you, is if you'd like to join the exercise, what I'm going to actually just go ahead and ask you to do is if you just want to kind of put your hands together in front of your heart chakra, which is right here between your, right in the center of your chest, basically at the sternum. And if you want to go ahead and gently just start to rub your hands back and forth and create a little bit of a heat. And then in just a moment, what I'm going to go ahead and do it in your own time when you're ready, I want you to just go ahead and I want you to do a big clap with your hands and keep rubbing. And you can get a little more aggressive. And then go ahead and start to slow down just a little bit, but keep your palms touching. And I want you to start to really focus and pay attention to what's happening between the palms of your hands. If you need to close your eyes because you can feel it better with your eyes closed, please feel free to do that. And as you start to slow down and you just literally let them touch, some will feel heat, some will feel tingles, some may feel a bit of a bubble kind of sense. Jamie, I see your cat's coming. Cats love this. And so this is where I want you to just very slowly, just sort of let your fingertips just barely touch each other. but do you feel something there? So then just sort of touch and then pull off of each other and touch and pull off. Do you feel anything between your fingers? Sort of pulling, kind of a little bit more of a taffy or of a pulling coming between. You can take your hands and go forward and up and down. And can you feel anything between your hands? Sometimes people will feel what feels like a little bit of a ball being created. You can pull and see how far you can still feel that as you pull apart. So this is your energetic field. And this is you feeling that and what you're capable of doing outside of your body. So when Tammy put us in our beautiful state of prayer, we actually all just came together where two or more were gathered, and we affected the energetic body. We affected the energetic world. And this is where when Anna says that when we think something, or if we pray, or if we put something towards an intention, it can go around the world in 10 minutes. I think that actually happens instantly. I don't think it takes a full 10 minutes, but maybe in other ear-through dimensions it does. But this is something that I wanted to awaken you to if you didn't know you had it, because this is how you can actually do healing work. And this is how you can take with your own hands. And if you have a headache, you can command that you have the healing. That's what the good book says, and you can put it on. That's why when we get stressed and we go like this, we have stress points here, and it helps to relieve our stress. That's why if we have a sore or an ache, we touch it and we hold. And that's where when we go up and we hug our friends, sometimes we put our hands somewhere and somebody goes, "Oh my gosh, that's the spot that hurts. How did you know?" It's because we have this hand, beautiful hands that heal. And we have these beautiful minds that can put out thoughts that can be beautifully transformative, and they can change the world, and they can stop hurricanes, and they can stop all of these things that Anna is bringing to our attention. And so this is some of the power of what they've hidden from us and what they've denied us knowing. And so this is where when people hit cognitive dissonance on what happened to me, we can say, okay, center up. And there's so many beautiful techniques that you can do to be able to, yeah, like they said, with yoga and with grounding and going out and standing on our beautiful Mother Earth. This will drain you from electromagnetic fields that are bad. So we have all sorts of mechanisms that we can help to balance the energy, to restore people, to have harmony, and then to be able to have harmony in our assemblies as we move into learning our responsibilities and not being afraid of those responsibilities. And so this is some of what I just wanted to bring forward. I'm going to give Tammy a couple other videos that she can send out with regard to things that you can do. I have another video there that will tell you how to work and do the healing work with your hands. So that was the second link I sent you, Tammy. If you wouldn't mind including that in with the notes and the meeting minutes that go after, and this video that people could take back. And again, if you don't mind, and if it's all right with Cheryl, to move some of the Sabrina Wallace stuff forward, this is going to be a way that you can see how some of the manipulation has been very, very nefariously being used against us. So this is what I wanted to make offer of with you tonight, to tell you, you all are the beautiful, beautiful sacred yous. You are the very special pillar that makes all of these other pillars happen. And I want to say thank you all. I love you all. I'm so glad to be serving with all of you. And I hope that we can go back and we can just, help Anna and help all of the good, just, in that which we do and that which we manifest comes forward in love and peace and all of the good things that can change this world. And we can do this very, very quickly. It's just we have to learn how we protect ourselves from what's happening to us, learn what has happened to us, the psychological warfares, the biological warfares, and all of the things that have been manipulative fields. We've got the ability to change all that. We've got it all at our hands. So it's just a matter of pulling it together and finding that peace and harmony. And I thank you all for your time, and have a wonderful evening after this. And I look forward to hearing what everybody else has to say. So thank you very much. And I saw in the chat that there may be a group that's coming that's going to talk more about this, and I look forward to being a part of that and offering any more that I can. Thank you so much. And if there's questions, I'm happy to take them. If not, I want to get on for Tammy so we can do other things. Thank you all. Blessings and love.
Thank you so much, Kimberly. That was an awesome video to share with us and so appropriate, especially in this time. And I love that you started this presentation with the video to basically teach some of us who may not be aware of energy healing and frequencies and our consciousness and our minds and how we get to manifest what we want through our mind. And knowing that, I believe, is the key to fighting any of this other, evilness that we find ourselves dealing with these days. So I
In
thank you
fact,
for that.
in fact, we don't even have to fight. We can just harmonize and we can love and we can neutralize. So this is where some of the consciousness is that we've been trained to be adversarial. And so this is where we really just need to learn that we can actually harmonize and we can actually love this out. And so I think that's what a lot of Anna's trying to offer us, is that we can choose to be positive. We can choose to be loving. And, sometimes we just react and we have shadow engulfments and things like this because of triggers that, were traumas and harms that we've experienced. So this is where we have to help our men and women to come back from those traumas and those harms and employ all of these wonderful healing works that many have, cultivated and fought for, and many have died for, to bring it forward. So this is something that, again, we have wonderful opportunity. And again, let's focus on the positive and where we want to go. So with that, thank you, Tammy, and thank you all. Love you.
Yeah, and I do want to, this is such a great topic, Kimberly, probably something that needs a little bit more time, but I know we've got other things to move on to, but I will say that I feel like this is the key really in dealing with some of the turmoil that we find ourselves in within our assemblies, because like you just briefly mentioned, we've all been living in this false matrix that has created maladaptive behaviors, and so we have these traumas, and I won't even call them childhood traumas because they've been traumas that we've dealt with our whole lifetime, traumas that we even deal with as adults, that lead us to, if we're not aware of how to combat it, it leads us to creating maladaptive behaviors. And I believe that that's really the issues that we're seeing come up in all of our assemblies. So when we see people fighting and we see people, being accusing, and we see people just not getting along, and I go back to that saying, can't we all just get along, and but I do feel like coming from that place, and Jesus was such, Yeshua, Jesus, whatever you want to call him, he was such a great teacher of that, showing love and compassion and living by example. And that's really the calling for us in our assemblies. And I really hope that all of our assemblies heed to this calling, because I think that that's what's going to allow our assemblies to grow and prosper a lot faster, because all this fighting and internal, discourse that we find ourselves in, all it's doing is preventing us from moving forward. So if we could just take the time, deal with the traumas that we've dealt with in our life, and every single one of us have not been, scathed from that. Every single one of us is a victim to this, but we don't have to be the victims. We could be, the survivors, or whatever you want to call a positive word to the warriors, whatever you want to call it, because the more work you put towards dealing with your traumas and healing from those traumas and getting back to true connection, being your genuine, authentic self, and letting that shine like a beacon in the night, just letting that light shine is really what's going to allow our assemblies to grow and prosper. And I really encourage everybody, whatever it is that you feel like you have to do. We have so many people like Kimberly that is doing energy work and energy healing. that can help you with this. I know we are so lucky and we are so fortunate that we have Elena Haros in our assembly who is stepping up to be our ombudsman. We've been waiting so long to get an ombudsman, and we had to wait this long because we needed to find this woman to serve. And so she is an energy worker, and so I do believe that they are the people that are going to help us to bring peace and balance into our assemblies. And so take them up on their offers if they're willing to help you, because we all need that help. And I yield. I'm gonna let anybody else who wants to, make a comment or ask a question before we move on to Louise. All right, well, I hate that I'm the only one talking here. We have 25 people on the call tonight. Clearly somebody must have something they want to say, but if you don't, that's fine. I'm going to yield and go ahead and let Louise present. Go ahead, Louise.
Thank you, Tammy. The word that comes to my mind is transmutation. Is the word for that energy that's maybe chaotic or maybe not grounded. You can take that energy field and transmute all of that and direct it where you want it to go. That's the word that came to my mind. And we're going to need that for what we got to do.
I love that, Louise. That's a great word, by the way.
So I put in the chat all the documents that I'll be going over. And I know we are, and I respect people's time. I'm going to try to get through this and to answer as many questions as we can get through tonight. But if you have other questions that we don't get to, just put it in the chat, because I look at everything and I will message you back with some answers. So I'm going to go over first, just a reminder. I wanted to remind everybody that on the website, I do on the rest page, I do updates when Anna says something that sounds like something current is happening. I try to capture it and put it here on this page. Now, this page is serving a purpose. We can't talk about crime without talking about arrest. Or people wonder, what teeth do you have to talk about crime when you can't do anything about it? So we want to make sure people know as we go public that we are doing something about the crime. And so I just remind you to check back with this page every now and then. The other page I want to remind you about is this page here, our commitment to the Unanimous Declaration. People can come here now and start autographing and downloading the declaration and reading it. If you're on board with it, if you are, again, bring that energy together all in with one direction, one focus. We're going to make this happen, that we can bring forth our Declaration of Independence and that energy that went behind all those people who stood up and rebelled against the tyranny of those who was trying to enslave them. So that's what we're continuing to do. So let your assemblies know they can come and read that and put their autographs on there. Those are just some reminders. Now, moving on to something new that I need to introduce, and that is, remember the phase 1 and phase 2 overview document, this one here. I added a few things to it to make it more user-friendly and useful. What I added to it is these 3 links here. The instructional video, so that when your assemblies are going through that pre-launch overview video, they can follow along with this document here. This is the video itself, links out to the pre-launch video. Here, let me link out to it so you can see it. It links out to the pre-launch video where I go through the whole thing, this whole page. Then the project page that's going to be on the PKTF website. This link here has the correct link that is going to be changed to. Right now, the link to this project page is different. It says affiliate outreach, but it's going to say Resurgence Project. So I have this link there on the document. So anybody who's using the document can link out to that. And then this link here goes to the ICE drive where you can download all the files. So I edited this particular document so that it can be easier to use as the assemblies, the outreach committees and stuff are going over the document, seeing what it's going to entail and what it is they want to do. Now, let me make something clear with this, with the whole project. Some assemblies say, well, I don't know if we're ready to go out there and do campaigns, or we don't have the budget for it, or any of those types of things, that challenges that they may have. And my response to that is to fit in where you fit in. I think that's what I told Kimberly. One main thing that all assemblies can do in starting their project, and that is this one here. Send out bulk email campaign to recorded nationals. Every assembly need to at least do that. Send out an email to everybody that's recorded on your assembly. What will this email say? So, and that made me think, well, the email template that I created was really for sending it out to, email campaigns to people who don't know. So I had to create another template. And here, this is what I created. This is another template for people who are already status corrected on your assembly. So if you want to fit in where you can, when your budget is low, the first place you're going to start is sending out this email. Now, the part that's different on this email, because it's exactly the same as the original email that's part of the whole project, but this particular one is different right here in this paragraph here. It says, our public record shows that you have corrected your political status to an American state national. You are now eligible to claim the financial assets that you are owed. Contact your local American State Assembly and inquire about our prosperity account services that grants you access to the assets we have recouped on your behalf. Now, Anna hasn't looked at that paragraph yet, so we'll have to edit it according to what she wanted to be edited to. But the other email will be a little confusing for anybody who's already status corrected. So I thought it's best to create another email for them that all assemblies can send out to their recorded nationals. So once we get this edited, this will go out and be added to all the documents for you all who may, who wants to start somewhere but don't know where to start. But this is where you start. This is where everybody start, whether you're going to do the whole project or, or not. This is where everybody start, is sending out an international public notice to your recorded nationals, because most of them don't even know about the prosperity accounts. And so we started home first. So send your family their notice first, and then reach out to the greater public. The next thing is I have great news. The detailed research is finished. A group of us, 4 of us, tackled it. We got those 300 pages down to, actually, I think it's like 190. But we did do it. And I'm pleased with it. If you want to go through it, there are some things in here that needs to be changed, but now that I finished it, I went ahead and linked everything out. So this links out to the table of contents. This links out to the acknowledgement page. I decided to add that. The table of contents, each of these actually links out to the actual documents too, which makes it easier to make it more user-friendly. So even if you open up this document and don't want to go through the website itself, you can just use this document and it'll links out to the actual document itself. And Tim obliged us. If you can see that national soil jurisdiction has those counties in there. So yes, so we work on every piece of input helps to make things better. I think that one thing made it even better because it's more accurate and the clarity is there. And that's what we're looking for.
That's awesome, Louise. I love it.
So yeah, so we do have that finished. There's a few things on here. If anybody who want to provide any feedback, this one right here, the 4 jurisdictions. If somebody take a look at this one, see those yellow areas? I'm not sure of the piece of information that is accurate that goes there about the date conventions of every jurisdiction, about the money that's within every jurisdiction, the gold, the silver, the asset back, the negotiable instruments, the legal tender. Yeah, I don't know for sure about that. So if anybody have any information on that, just email it to me. But yeah, that one I need some clarification on, and I don't know if there was anything else. Yeah, but go over it. Tell me what you think. If you see anything that needs changed, I'm sure you will. Just let me know and I will get on it. All right. Haven't heard from Anna. We're still waiting. But the good news is, as long as we wait, it just gets better and better. And then once we get to that point, I'm not waiting. I'm moving on with the project. So we might have our web TV done by the time she says go. But at least we're gonna be ready when she's ready. The public service announcement, Margaret and Woody is working on that still. And PKTF is working on that page, the landing page and the pre-launch letter. You saw that. And then this is the link to the ICE drive. Now, any assembly out there who needs some assistance in branding each of those documents that need to be branded to your particular, let me see if I can find it, to your particular assembly, just reach out to me. I will get on it. I'll do it myself or have somebody else who's one of the liaison partners to do it. So anybody who have their seal and needs help to put it on the brochures or put it on the emails or put it on whatever, just let me know. The new development that we're working on is the Town Hall project. Now, as inspirations come and people bring these great ideas, I have to put tentacles out and say, who's out there who wants to volunteer to put this project online? So that's what I did with this one. Come to find out, somebody's already doing this. I didn't know. So Amethyst and Sheila, is Amethyst here today? Or Sheila here today? I told him I was.
I'm here.
Oh, okay. All right. Which one, Amethyst or Sheila?
I'm here. This is
Both
Amethyst.
of them. Okay, great.
We're both.
So what I'm going to do, well, what I found out is I was receiving these transcripts from this person that I didn't even know they were transcripts. I would just see this name, Amethyst. Who is this? I'm like, I thought it was spam, so I didn't pay any attention. And then one day I just said, man, they keep sending me stuff. Let me open this up. What is this? I'm like, transcripts? Anna, I'm looking for transcripts. I'm like, what is this? So I reached out to Amethyst, found out about Sheila. She's transcribing the videos too. I'm like, we almost there. So they graciously said, yeah, we'll come aboard and help bring this project online. So I wanted Amethyst and Sheila and them to come on this call and tell us what they're already doing so we can get involved at this level. But after we get the Town Hall project, we're going to coordinate all this together and we're going to have a 24-hour call. But right now, Amethyst has a 2-hour call. We're going to listen to it. Tell us about it, Amethyst and Sheila.
Okay, it's the All States Assembly Forum call. I took over this call a few years ago, sometime back in 2021 from Dennis, the Arizona coordinator, because one of his members is Arizona Assembly members, and a friend of mine, Shirley over there, had called me one time and asked, do you want to take over the All States Assembly Forum call? You're with your knowledge, you followed Anna a long time, and she said, I don't know of anybody else who would be competent or knowledgeable enough to handle the forum call. I said, sure, I'll do it. So I do it on the first and third Sunday now. It's at 2 p.m. Eastern time and 11 a.m. Pacific time. So, and I get people from all over the country, and I send out an email if you're on Paul Stramer's list, who sends out Anna's articles every so often, that I don't really keep a separate email list for that. I just write the announcement each week and decide what I'm going to talk about. As this coming Sunday is my next call, the 17th, for the All States Assembly Forum call. It is a teleconference call, not a video call, not a video conference. So you just call in. So there's a phone number, and the replay number is on the email that I sent out, and I send the announcement out to Paul Stramer, email it to him, and he emails it out to his email list. And I had almost 100 people in the last time. That was the most I've ever had so on the last call. And that's the first and third Sunday of every month. I talk about Anna's updates, the things that people need to know, because there's often a lot of people on the call who don't have time to go over the transcripts, get the important information that Anna puts out. And so I pick out the important parts of Anna's Monday night webinar and the podcast information as much as I can, and I will tell that on the call. I also like to cover some geopolitical news that is relevant to us, and some inspirational stuff, and about what's coming with these huge changes coming on, ascension and so forth. And so I like to cover, several different topics, and not just about Anna and law and legal. And then I do have a question and answer at the end. And it's just, I do it just as we do on the state assembly calls. You say, may I? And then I come and say, okay, they give their first name. I ask them, give your first name and your state, and then give your question or comment, and then say, I yield at the end. Then I go on to the next person. It lasts an hour and a half to 2 hours, including the question and answer session. I really enjoy doing it. I've gotten a lot of compliments on the call. I do send out the replay link. I have a number of requests for the replay link, online replay link, for those who cannot make it. And last time I did went ahead and do a transcript of it. Now, all the transcripts that I do lately, within the last year or so, I use an AI program to do it, which is much faster. And all I do is just edit the program and the transcript, and then send it out. So I did do a transcript of my last call, because there was a lot of important and interesting information on there, and I emailed that out. That was the first time I've done a transcript for that particular call in quite a while. So I may continue to do transcripts for that one, because some people do prefer to read transcripts, since I do have the AI program that can get it done in just minutes. So any questions?
Now, Amethyst, how long you been doing this?
Since sometime in June of, I wouldn't say, sometime in 2021. I'd have to look on my computer and my saved folder for the 2021, sometime in 2021. I'd have to look it up in my documents and see exactly when I started, what month, but it was 2021.
Okay. So 3 years. So raise your hand if you knew Amethyst was doing an all states assembly forum. Raise your hand. I don't see any hands.
And the name, this was actually my friend Shirley's
One.
idea.
Okay. Two.
This was
Okay,
actually,
Michelle.
yeah, this was actually my friend Shirley's idea for this call that was started, I guess, a few years ago, maybe about, I'm not sure when it started, 2019, 2020. I believe it was well before the Con Job 19 started. And it was Anna herself who came up with the name for the call, the All States Assembly Forum. So that name came from Anna herself.
Well, I'm so elated that she's already doing this, and it is needed. It's really important that we do this and get these transcripts archived. That's one of the things that was on my mind when I thought about this type of town hall, is getting all those transcripts archived, and so people can go back and do research. So on my end, I'm thinking about the archiving part, and where all the questions are going to be written in this database, so people can come. And I'm thinking, I'm not sure what I want to call it now. It's like, I want it to be a research lab Well, you come and research all things you need to know, the history of it and everything. And then now she's doing the phone conference, but Dave had in mind a video conference. So that's what we're going to kind of upgrade it to. Now, Amethyst, you mentioned to me that you started on a specific day, but now you have Sunday. Can you give us some input on that? Because we have to choose what's the best day to do it on.
It was originally started on Wednesday evening. Did not get that many people on that because in the middle of the week, you know, there's always state assemblies. They have their calls, you know, every night of the week. There's one of the state assemblies everywhere somewhere in the nation that has a call, you know. Monday, I don't know if anyone do any meetings on Friday nights, but the weeknights, say at least Monday through Thursday, or at least Tuesday through Thursday. Some of them might have it before or after, depending on the time zone. They might have their meetings before or after on a Monday evening, because either before or after Anna's webinar. But it was originally started on Wednesday night. Then I decided to talk about it, and I decided to switch it to Sunday. I initially had it on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. my time. I'm on Central Time. But then after a while, I decided, well, that's not giving me enough time, because I'm often working till Saturday night and Sunday morning, working on last minute preparations and gathering my information for the All States Assembly Forum call. So it works better for me to have it moved to Sunday afternoons.
Okay. And then she does mention that that she's using the AI program, which we were thinking about using to do the transcriptions. We talked about somebody need to be able to know how to use the software. Well, we have somebody who knows how to use the software too.
Yeah.
So Amethyst and Sheila's going to come in next, but Tammy had a question or something to say before Sheila comes in.
I was just going to say, Jamie and Amethyst, putting those two together, I wouldn't have put them together, but closing my eyes and listening to your voice, I'm like, oh yeah, that's Amethyst.
Yeah, Amethyst is my online name. I chose it back in 2004. It's my birthstone. I never legally changed it. Jamie is my legal name.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't get a chance to come on those calls live, but I do listen to the playback. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Yeah. And I also have, but I've been categorizing Anna's articles, many of them, not every one of them, but many of them by subject. And I have them dozens and dozens of folders categorized and separated by subject matter pretty much on my hard drive on my computer. For example, law and legal, criminal actions, IRS. I have a folder for Anna's blood money articles, all of that. Basic info, basic information for newbies, articles for that geared toward people who are new. And so I've done that as well.
We'll be able to utilize some of that too to get things done quicker. So we don't have to start from scratch.
Right.
All right, Sheila, tell us what how you contribute to this and what you're going to be doing with me.
Yeah. Hi guys. I just started working with Amethyst a few months back. She asked for volunteers, and so I've been doing the transcriptions, also utilizing AI to make it a little faster, and also had the idea that, man, we need like a database for this because it's really good research information to go back to. That's one of the good benefits about spending all this time doing transcripts, is for. And then Amethyst let me know that you guys were working on this as a bigger project and asked if I wanted to get involved. And then, I let you know that my background skills are in technology, and I can build websites and databases and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm happy to help in wherever you guys need it.
Yes, I was so happy.
Sheila does the Tuesday podcast, both with Neethi and Anna and Lisa. So she transcribes those on Tuesdays for me.
Yes.
So the 4 videos that Dave and I was looking to get transcribed are already being transcribed.
Okay.
That's how much closer we are to actually developing this project.
Yeah.
Now, and this is in you all's chat right there. This is our action, our action items that we needed to get in place so we can start building it. Dave is working on his part, getting the Claude AI done. And some people had said they wanted to help with programming the AI to be able to read, scan the transcripts better. Now that I have Sheila, and I also have Jano on North Carolina, who I also reached out to, who said he's interested in helping with the database and the website building. See, before I was only one lonesome one on the website properties team, task team. Now I have two to help me, so I'm really happy. So we're going to get on what type of database we're going to use or forum software we're going to use. This is the one I thought of initially. We might try something different because Sheila came up with some other ones. So we're going to decide which one we're going to use to archive all the transcripts and bring in some of the ideas that Bart has said with how we're going to add other links out to the other information too. So we're going to get on that. But hey, anybody else out there, website developer, we need you, because when I get into the next number 3, you're gonna see why. But so this one right here is one of the action items we have. And then number 5 was the transcribers. If you want to do, these are 2 transcribers I just mentioned. That don't mean we don't need any more. So anybody who's out there who wants to learn how to use the transcription program and do some more transcribing, because as this develops and expands out, the more and more volunteers we have, the faster we can move with rescuing everybody from the tyranny that they're subjected to, and bringing them home to the land and soil. The Cloud Hub meets. I have to reach out to the owner of that. That's Todd Callender. So me and the PKTF is working on reaching out to them to see what the features are available for that platform, because that's the one we're thinking about using for the video town hall. And then the last thing was the intellectual property. So we had a volunteer to help look over any of the legal aspects to the database and everything that we're going to, or the forum and everything we're going to develop. So go take that to your assemblies. Anybody who want to volunteer on the town hall project, those are the things we're needing volunteers for. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about strategy for the Resurgence project, because we got phase 1 and phase 2 done. Now we're moving into phase 3. Phase 3 started off with the strategy task force sessions. We've had 2 sessions already. They are uploaded to the international think tank platform, outreach think tank platform, for you to review them. And when we were discussing in our last meeting, Lavelle brought something back to my attention. And one thing that she brought back to my attention was, she was saying that how we want to all launch this together, which, yeah, that's I've been saying, right? Launch it all together. But I know that all of us are at different levels. So we're not going to launch it all together, but I am looking for as many assemblies as possible that can do it together. And she was saying how, well, if they can they can get out, have their postcard and give it to the media all at the same time, it would not give them enough time to stop us or not broadcast it. So if we broadcast it ahead of time, then further down the road, then they may start to try to kick back and not want to share the information or broadcast the information anymore, because it might start creating waves. So, which I thought of earlier. So what I was thinking though, with that idea is, I told her one thing that was concerning me with us starting all at the same time was that it could possibly crash the website. So we would have to put it at graduated steps. So I came up with a postcard for the assemblies specifically who wanted at this level at phase 3, who want to take it to another level. And this is something that I already incorporated into the project. We're just now talking about it. Remember back when we began, I asked everybody, how can we brand our assemblies? What should our names be? As far as the Ohio Assembly or the Illinois Assembly dot what? So Texas is the winner, because I agree with Texas all the way already. Their name is the Texas Assembly dot land. To brand us as the American government, every assembly name URL, the assembly name dot land. That's my suggestion. Anybody who wants to be together and broadcast together in this phase 3, that's what I'm recommending that we do. Use the URLs that we are going to, you'll have to purchase them. And I already looked, they're already available. I know we ran into problems when we was trying to find our URL. And the is important. The Texas Assembly dot land. And as you build that out to your counties, I'm thinking, this is what I'm thinking for that. Butler, I live in Butler County. So Butler County soil dot land. Franklin County soil dot land. Whatever county, soil dot land. But since that's a long thing, you're going to abbreviate county to CTY. That's how I would do it. That's what I'm suggesting now. But as we build it out, I'm thinking about branding us as the land and soil jurisdiction government. That's my thought with that. So what I did was I created a postcard example using Illinois as an example. So if Illinois
Louise, you still there?
wants to be a part of I am here. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yes, you went out there for a minute.
Sorry. Yeah, I see that your connection is unstable. Sorry. So let's see if we can get through this. So those 26 assemblies who want to launch at the same time, I got the 26 assemblies over here who's launching at the same time. When they send their postcards out, their postcards will have their URL on it to their website, not to the main Claim Your Inheritance website. Those who not ready to launch all at the same time or want to start before then, they would use the general postcard that's already created. Now, these 26 who want to launch all at the same time with the branded URL, see, this takes extra. You have to do extra for this. You have to get the URL. And the other thing you're gonna need to do is create a branded website with it. The websites we have now are informational websites. I wouldn't call them government websites. Some of them are. I did look at, I've been researching, trying to find out a sample website to show us what a typical government website look like. So the government website would show us our pillars, would focus on pillars. That's what we have. Our committees, our officers, our minutes to our meetings, all available to the public when they land on the site. So that's what your site would look like. And on your site, you will house the International Public Notice video on your site. And your URL will be the Illinois Assembly.land/claim would be the tab on your website where you will house that video. When you send out your postcards, you will have your URL on it, and it will go to that website there at that link. And then the the back side of your card would have your QR code that goes to that link on your website. Nothing else on this, nothing else on the card changes. So only thing changes is the QR code that's on there and the website address. That's what changes on the card. For you as the assembly, what you would need to do is create that government website with that URL, with that video on it. The video is not ready yet. We still have to do the audio and get it accepted. I mean, approved by Anna and do the voiceover, but that video would be on your website. This would address the issue of possibly or trying to prevent the website from crashing when we have too many doing it at the same time, because we do want everybody to do it at the same time. That is ultimately what the whole idea was. But if we did that, it would definitely crash the website. So this is the idea to address that issue. Yes, Tammy.
Yeah, I had a question about the URLs. So for us, it would be the New Jersey Assembly.land, right? But why wouldn't you just do some kind of a landing page on a website that's already current?
If you already have the dot, so there's a couple of things we're doing with this. First, the first thing we're doing is branding the assembly to the Federation of States with the .land. So we all have this .land that connects us to that. Then the second thing is you can put the video on your home screen if you want and not have to use /claim. I wouldn't do that, but I guess you could.
Yeah, I guess doesn't the Federation already use .us for their URL?
Yeah, they use .us. Mm-hmm. So yes, they do use .us. Now the Federation is International C. So we would have to, they would have to decide, the Federation would have to decide, and this is further down in the other ideas that I have, they would have to decide if they want to create a website with .land as well.
Yeah, because I thought the Federation though is the land jurisdiction, right? The states of the Union, they're the soil jurisdiction, right? The United States is the soil jurisdiction, and the Federation of States is the land jurisdiction.
So the two, and these two concepts too. So the Federation of States, who is the Federation of States? Is it the State Assembly, or is it the International Sea Jurisdiction Federation with Anna and the PKTF is International Sea? And correct me if I'm wrong, the assemblies are international land. At least the state assemblies. The county assemblies would be soil. That's why I'm saying the state assembly's name would have .land.
Yeah, I think this is a bit confusing. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that I knew that the Federation operated in the sea jurisdiction in order to conduct commerce, but I don't think that they actually are the sea jurisdiction. Does anybody else have a comment on that?
Are you thinking that we should use .us to brand the other assemblies?
I'm just saying, if they're already using it, why would we go to something different? You know, because I know that a lot of our assemblies already have their own websites. And I know for us, we bought 4 different URLs, .com, .net, .org. You know, I mean, we could buy .land as well, but as far as trying to brand something, and, you know, I think it's going to get a bit confusing with all these different URLs. Mm-hmm. we're trying to make it as simple as possible. And so I think that's going to be a bit confusing.
Mhm.
I
All right.
think, I think that perhaps, I think that if you have this claim your inheritance, right? And this is a website that's going to be listed on the TASA website. If you go to that website, then all of our state assemblies websites should be listed on that so that people can go to their state assemblies and revert back to their state assemblies. But I don't know, maybe this, I could see maybe doing it for the soil jurisdictions.
The counties.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, I think though, doing that as land, especially because our assemblies already have a website up. But it
Mhm.
looks like, you know, maybe Dan wants to chime in here. Go ahead, Dan.
Just a suggestion, we take a look at the chat. Somebody made a comment in the chat about international includes land and sea jurisdiction. I yield.
Mhm. Yeah. So that's a thought. If we want to brand, the whole idea is to branding the American government with something that, just like they have .gov, something that once everybody looks at the URL, they already know who they're related, that they're related to the American government. So if you use, we have .org, we got .lands, we got .coms, and yeah, I think it's with what I'm trying to accomplish here, it would be best in my mind to have it all branded, because when you think about marketing, you think about the competition. Our competition is our federal subcontractors. And
Yeah,
what is,
I agree, Louise, with what you're saying with the branding. I 100% agree with that. I'm just not sure if we should be jumping from land if the Federation is using .us. You know, that would be something that we should look into so that we're not trying to rebrand something that's already been branded,
Mhm.
you know, and
Yeah. Is TASA, what's the TASA website called? TASA, is it American State National.us? I can look it up.
I believe it's .org.
Got a couple of it. It's .org.
I think it's .org, yeah.
Yeah, so they have a .us somewhere up in there too, because I have an email address that has .us on it all the time. Yeah, so we have a .org and we have a .us. Yeah, so we would have to decide definitely if we think branding is a good idea, then we have to figure out how we're going to brand ourselves.
Yeah, well, and the other thing that, you know, came to my mind is I know on New Jersey, if we want to be recognized as a legitimate government, we also want to be able to have all of our elected officials have an email address that has like their first name, you know, or their first name, their last name, and then at the NewJerseyAssembly.com, right? Or it would be their first name, their last name, and, you know, maybe marshal at arms, whatever it is, right? Whatever position at the NewJerseyAssembly.com or whatever that, you know, URL might be.
And there's 160 to 180 people.
Oh, we got a hot mic.
Amethyst.
There we go. And so, you know, because being able to use an email address that's linked to your website gives you more of a professional, you know, look, instead of everybody in our assemblies using, you know, their own personal email address, right? So
Right.
whatever it is that we use, I think this definitely needs to be something that perhaps, because if this has something to do with the Federation, we probably need to get their opinion on this as far as, you know, if we should be using .land. I mean, I like .land. But I think that this is something, we don't want to go outside of the purview. I don't want to come across as we're trying to rebrand something that's already existing. But so I think we need some clarity there. And then whatever clarity we get, I say we go with it.
Mhm.
That's just my take. I yield.
Any other questions on this one? Okay. So that's, we're talking about strategy. So in the strategy task force, we also went over this here. This is a transference of government strategic execution overview is what I called it. I've changed some things to the phase 3, and that was one of the things that I've changed. If you remember in phase 1, I have a implementation guide for phase 1 and 2, and then I have phase 1 through 6, and then I have an implementation guide for phase 3 only. So this one is phase 3 only that we're analyzing and adding, taking away, looking at. So I'm not gonna, there are 2 videos already that we went over with explaining what all this is. I know it looks a little bit busy, so you can look at those 2 videos to go over what all this is. But the particular thing I wanted to talk about as far as strategy with the think tank, one was about starting off with the international public notice with at least 26 assemblies. The other stuff you already know, but the other thing with phase 3 that I wanted to dive into as far as strategy is this over here on the right. Everything in blue is really is to indicate that it is what the assemblies themselves are going to be leading the direction in. So start so that you can understand just by quickly looking at this. You're starting here at the top left, international public notice. We already went through that. That's phase 1. The county tours, that's phase 2. That's what you see there, a capital at a county. And then the elect a sheriff, which would be one of your objectives at having those public meetings. That's why that's there. Seat your county and your state assembly. We talked about that. That's why that's there. But one of the things we talked about too was applying public pressure and I talked about the governor and what we did to get the governor, Governor George Ryan, in my experience in Illinois, applying public pressure to get the governor to do what it is that they're supposed to be doing anyway. But in our case, it was moving a prison out of our neighborhood. I came up with the idea with applying public pressure in this respect to the one fell swoop list of remedies. The one fell swoop list of remedies was those list of remedies here. Let me see if I can find it. These list of remedies are the things that we were supposed to have anyway, but don't. So if we could apply the public pressure in this way is what I'm thinking. We have our one fell swoop list of remedies that you're going to present at your town meetings, telling the public, informing the public about these things. But what I would like to do with that, and you all give me your input, what I would like to do with that as far as applying public pressure is to create a declaration of land law for each of those remedies. And I call it a declaration of land law. We can call it anything, but the declaration of land law for birth registrations, the declaration of land law for IRS, the declaration of land law for mortgages or bank loans. In each of these, and I want them to be separate. And I want them to be one separate sheet for each remedy so that the public, as we're informing them that this is what you're supposed to have anyway, but you don't. I'm thinking, what if we put that in their hands and explain to them in this declaration? It'll give them the law, what it says about this particular item, what the penalty or the criminal, the crime is that's being perpetrated by them not having it, and what their remedy is or should be, that would be in that declaration. Of course, we have to get all approval for all this, but that would be in the declaration. And what they can do is, we can inform them to do, when they read these declarations and they see that they've been perpetrated against, they can write an affidavit, because they're not Americans yet, they can write an affidavit to the fact that, hey, I have a birth certificate, and it has, oh, it does this, so they'll be able to identify, hey, yeah, I've been perpetrated against, and they can send an affidavit with that declaration to their public officials. And when I say public officials, I mean there's the Secretary of State, the county sheriff, the governor. Put these pieces of paper in the mail to these people and letting them know, yeah, I'm being perpetrated against, and yeah, I'm supposed to have this. Why don't I have this? The pressure is asking your public officials who's supposed to be giving you these things, why didn't they give them to you? We talk about the teeth, having teeth to get the the subcontractors to do what they need to do. I think teeth can be used in this manner of applying the public pressure, and by educating the masses. You're supposed to have this anyway. Ask your public officials why you don't have it. And as these pieces of paper come across their desk, they would be more apt to listen to what we have to say. Now, we would have to draft up these declarations, and then we would have to educate the public on how to use the declarations, those types of things. But what do you think about the idea of applying public pressure in this way?
Louise, would this be a notice of a declaration, or would this be more of a notice of liability?
Well, the declaration itself is us informing the public of what the remedy is that they're supposed to have. It's coming from us as the American government, saying you're supposed to have this. And this is where the legal research task team comes into play, because we need some. That's where I need some help here on how to draft what that should look like. If we want to talk about the birth registrations, we got to talk about what is it? Why is it a crime to even have a birth registration? And that type of thing. And the fact that if you want it to record births in a land jurisdiction is what you're supposed to have. You're not supposed to be registering births in a sea jurisdiction. Of course, the declaration would say better than that, but that's what the declaration is for. We're declaring land law. We're declaring that birth registrations are a crime. How is it a crime? We have to say how is birth registration a crime? So that's what the Declaration of Land Law paper is for. What they're going to send in would be an affidavit and to their public officials, and they would have the criminal information of how they've been perpetrated. The crime is against them. We would have to show them or draft up what a criminal information and notice of liability would look like. They would be the ones, or you would be the ones, whoever it is that reads the Declaration of Land Law, that this is the remedy you're supposed to have, and this is a crime that's being perpetrated against you. We're telling them that. What they will do with that information is write up the criminal information notice of liability to the public official who is responsible for the commission of this crime against them, and sit it on their desk. Yes, Kimberly.
I think some of that work may actually already be done. If I'm miscomprehending, forgive me, my head's a little blurry right now. So, but I actually do think some of this work might already be done, and some litigation stuff. So, I will, Doug and Christy are names that I have heard of through our litigation group that is working very hard on some of these criminal notices. So I think that they actually may already be either being worked on or exist. So I just wanted to make you aware that I think some work has been done on that litigation wise. So I'll see what I can do to connect you with some of that. So I just wanted you to know that. Thank you. I yield.
Thank you, Kimberly. Yeah, I know. I have the copy of Doug's, and that criminal information name came from what Doug was doing. I like that name, the criminal information And I would call it criminal information notice of treason is what I would call it. When it goes to a public official, they are guilty of treason. If it goes to an employee, it may not, I think Anna said, well, that's a different case. It's just a different type of crime, but it's not treason because they're not in a public official capacity. But criminal information notice of treason going to your public official would actually be coming from the person, and it would be related to the particular remedy. I know Doug is one of the advisors for the strategy task force. Doug's criminal information process that they're doing is preparing you to go to court. He says it prepares you to go to court. It's an administrative process. So I'm not looking at doing an administrative process with this. What I'm looking at doing with this is applying the pressure of letting the public officials know that, hey, America is waking up. We know that you're doing these crimes. Why are you doing this, and where's my remedy? So it's really one sheet of paper, not one sheet of paper. It might be 2 or 3 sheets of paper, but it's one communication. It's not going to be notice, first notice, second notice, third notice, default judgment. It's not going to be that. That's not what I'm thinking of.
Perfect. Thank you for clarifying.
Yes, Tammy.
Yeah, it's funny that Kimberly said that because that's what came to my mind. I just put it down in my notes to reach out to Christy and Doug. Their notice is criminal information and notice of liability. I would go as far as maybe calling it your obligation to uphold our constitutional guarantees. Something to that effect, because that's really what it is. It's them holding them to account for those constitutional guarantees. That was the contract that we have with them. And so that's what I would aim it towards. And you said this is going to be a notice that's being sent to these public officials, but from the US citizens or from us?
It would be from either. See, US citizens are supposed to have some remedies too. For one, birth registrations. There is no reason for a birth registration. It's just point blank a crime.
Right.
As far as I know, I mean, even the US citizens, the birth registration is just to bond them into slavery. So they should be sending a criminal information notice of treason, and we should be sending a criminal information notice of treason. What I'm trying to do is get all the people aware that this is happening to you, regardless whether you're a national or not. It's happening to you. Do you want to agree with it or you don't? I mean, you want to go along with it or what? But we need to let them know and let them know what their remedies are and let them know that we are the American government that's going to put this crime in check. And we're protecting all the people. We're protecting all of the people, not just American state nationals. And I want them to know that. So that's what this idea is about. And this would be something that you would deliver at your town hall meetings when you're doing your county tours. And you'd have the paperwork there with you to present it to the people who's attending. So that's my idea with this one. Y'all, we're short on time, but this is a new idea that I thought about how to apply public pressure in the most effective way when we go public with these town meetings. Yeah, Kimberly.
Forgive me, I'll be brief. One of the things that just struck me, and I have found particularly effective, I think when we talk about a lot of the things that have gone on with the birth certificate fraud and so forth, that sounds great. And if you comprehend it, it's wonderful. But if you have no idea what you're talking about, people really don't get it. So what I found is if I talk about it in that way and I see that they're not getting it, I actually just now actually throw it out in the obvious of this is human trafficking and you've been human trafficked. And as soon as I say that, eyeballs bulge. So this is where maybe we need to be a little bit more in and I mean this gracefully, but obvious and in people's faces. And again, some of the marketing that you learn in marketing is just that, is be obvious. And I think this is where some of the Asian folks have been just so fantastic about being able to be successful in businesses. Is if it's Chinese food you're looking for, the sign says Chinese food. So if we're going in and saying, there's a birth certificate, or registration fraud or so on, that's really well and fine, but nobody comprehends that unless they've been studied. So maybe they need an actual obvious, sign in human trafficking, because that's sort of a screecher. That is something that gets people's attention. And I realize it's a little dramatic, but it is obviously quite a dramatic process. So maybe it's just we need to speak a little more plainly in terms that, again, the awakening are coming to comprehend, rather than a little bit more of the advanced language that you might get in second or third grade, as an example in the process of the learning and education. So maybe it just needs to be a little bit more, bam, this is what we're really talking about here. And I think probably because Mockingbird Media has had, some of this, and with Trump and things like this, these are some of talking points that people are hearing about. And so maybe we just have to play some of that card to be identifiable. So thank you. I just wanted to offer that, and I yield.
Yeah, I'm planning on doing that, Kimberly. What I need here with this aspect to it is some people who wants to be on the legal or lawful task team, documents task team, to write up some of these things so that we can get the language right. And of course, Anna's going to have to go over it, or the living law firm would have to go over it. But I think it's important. When we talk about teeth, I'm thinking outside of the box. For me, teeth is the public. The more of the public that you can get to understand and rally behind something that affects them. So we have to let them know this is affecting you. So if you want something done about it, this is what you can do about it. But letting them know that we are the American government and we can help them do something about it. We are the ones who's got to do something about it. We have to put the British territorials in check, and we are the only ones who can do it. So we got to let them know that. So that's one of the things I want to bring forth here as far as strategy go, and I need some help with this. So anybody who wants to help with drafting up documents, send me an email or put your email or name in that chat, and I will get back with you. We're out of time. So the next thing that I wanted to talk about was just gonna hit on this one real quick. See this page right here. Phases 4 and 5, web properties details. As we go public and go talking, doing our town meetings, we need reporters, we need people drafting up articles, and people doing their writing up what happened, writing up the news and feeding it to the news, so we can get the story straight and let them know what actually happened. So when they're reporting what we did, we know that they're reporting it according to how it happened. And we will have our own news channel so they can come fact check. Oh, they said this over here in CNN, but the American government over here is saying this. We have to have our own news channel. So that's one of the things we're going to be getting into too with phase 3. Phase 4 and 5 just comes right up on the heel of it. And I didn't realize phase 4 and 5 had so much involved in it when I conceived of the idea. And as you all keep bringing more ideas and inspiration keep coming, and I just keep building it all out, I'm making this grandiose web properties. I have it says two main web properties. Remember, it was 1776 union.tv, and then it was 76union.com. So one was the TV platform, one was the news blog platform. One is visual, one is written. But now, all your ideas you keep giving me, now that those two platforms have a nested 9 other platforms from it. One of them is that forum we just talked about. So I need some help from some web developers, some software engineers, some coders, so that we'll be ready to get this news out there as it's coming to the forefront as we are out there doing our county tours and stuff like that. That's in your chat here too. This is where we started. This is this banner. You'll see that in your implementation guide. That's the idea that started, but we developed it to have this banner now. That's what it looks like now because it's on our website. So that's what we have now. If it changes, we don't know. I don't know. Depends on what other inspiration other people who's coming on board to join me to develop this. If they come up with something better, we'll use that. But yes, so read that. Here are the list of things that needs to be done. Anybody who wants to come forward to do some of that, put your name in the chat or email me or Tammy, and we'll put you on the list and we can know where to go from there. Any questions?
May I, Louise? I just have a comment.
Yeah, yes.
I just want to say this is so far beyond what I think any of us thought it was going to be. Every time I hear a little bit more about how you fine-tuned it, it gets me more excited to be a part of it and get it rolling. So thank you for everything that you've done to put into this project. It's really, truly amazing. So, you know, bravo for you. I don't think we're going to have a problem getting volunteers. I think it's just a matter of getting the word out. So I'm going to try my best to help in that regard, and I yield.
Any other questions or comments? All right, there you go, Tammy. I yield.
All right. Well, we are going to go ahead and adjourn the meeting. I want everybody to write on their calendars. The next outreach, international outreach think tank meeting is going to be Wednesday, December 11th, 7:30, same time. And if you have anybody that is in your assembly that wants to be added to the email list, just reach out to me, send me their email. You could, you know, send a group email, including them and introducing. Eric, you had a question? You have to unmute.
Stop at 30. Stop at 30. What time?
Oh, start time is 7:30.
Oh, here, 6:30.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay.
Eric,
all right.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Eric, because I believe Eric said that he wanted to help with the websites.
I try.
Yes.
I try.
I will be messaging you.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for your time tonight. And we're looking forward to getting closer and closer to rolling this out. And if anybody that you know of has any of these skill sets that Louise is looking for, please reach out to them and ask them for their help. I know that, you know, we're thinking, you know, they're not here, but maybe in our assemblies, we know of people that have these skill sets. I know that people personally like to be asked to be a part of something. So don't be afraid to reach out to them. And I thank you all. If you don't have any more questions, we're going to go ahead and adjourn the meeting.
Thank you,
All right.
Tammy.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you. Blessings and love.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Hey, Michael.
Hey.